Mahoney is back tonight to tell us about a new move by President Biden's administration. Hey, Tim, thanks for being here.
Always a pleasure. Great to see you. By the way, wonderful hit at Little Cubs Field. That was awesome. If you haven't seen that, check it out on Instagram. It was really great. So President Biden, when he got elected, talked about legalizing marijuana. And as we know, it's still very much illegal on the federal level, but several states have legalized it, which that's not really a legitimate thing.
Okay.
If the federal government says something is illegal, states cannot make it legal, but we've kind of done that anyway. So that means that the states are operating as though it's legal, but the federal government is operating as though it's not legal. So what the Biden administration has proposed, they tried to just flat out legalize marijuana, but Congress wouldn't pass it. There's still a huge resistance to that, which I personally find kind of amazing. But there's a huge resistance to the legalization of the product. So the Biden administration has asked the FDA to propose a change in the classification from a Schedule I narcotic to a Schedule III narcotic. Now let me define those. Schedule I narcotics are LSD and heroin. So right now, marijuana has the same classification as LSD and heroin. Kind of incredible.
Sure.
If it goes to Schedule III, that'll be something like testosterone. That'll be something along those lines. So that's the proposal that has now been done to the FDA, and that proposal has actually happened.
Okay. So does that mean that it's now legal?
No. So, and that's the perfect question. Even if this happens, it'll still be illegal. Technically, it'll still be regulated in certain ways. So like testosterone, you can't go to CVS and just buy it over the counter, but you can get a prescription for it.
Okay.
The huge difference that'll make is with regards to the manufacturers of the product, because right now they can't deduct any of their expenses for producing the product. They have to pay all this money in order to grow it and process it and do all these things. And these are publicly traded companies, even though it's still federally illegal, which doesn't make any sense at all. So they have to say, here's the amount of money that we brought in, and we don't get to deduct anything because the federal government still says this is illegal. Well, if it goes to a Schedule III, they will get to deduct all those expenses. They also don't get to use banks. I mean, most banks won't touch them because banks are all federally regulated, and they're worried about getting in trouble with the federal government. So that will eliminate that. So if it goes from a Schedule I to a Schedule III, the companies that are publicly traded will be able to get tax advantages, and they'll be able to do normal banking systems.
Okay,
if
that's
that
huge
happens.
for them.
It is huge for them, and it will also make it so that you can get prescriptions for the product and you can reasonably...
No matter where you live in the country.
Yes, no matter where you live. Well, states could still regulate it if they wanted to. So the interesting thing about this is the process that you have to go through in order to do this. So the Biden administration has proposed the change. There is now a 7-step process in order for that change to happen, to go from a Schedule I, which is why I think they tried initially to just make it so that they wanted to have it, just be legalized, just have Congress pass it, but Congress wouldn't do that. So here's the process. I had to look this up. They have to do the proposal, which they've done. It's got to be reviewed by all the federal agencies, the DEA, the FDA, the National Institute of Drug Abuse. There's got to be a scientific evaluation with regards to the product. And what everybody's going to be looking at here is there a medical benefit to the product? Now, again, there's still a massive resistance to this. There's still a big push out there to say that there isn't a medical benefit to this product, which again, I find kind of remarkable. I know from personal experience with my clients that have been significantly injured that CBD has an incredible impact on inflammation reduction and on pain reduction for them. But that's all part of what gets debated, is all of these things. And if it has a medical benefit, then it can classify as a Schedule III as opposed to a Schedule I. So then they have to have a recommendation, there's got to be a public comment period, and then a final rulemaking and a transition. So this is all started. We're on step 2 of step 7. I don't know if this will all get done by the election or not, but it is a huge shift and a big change that looks like it's going to happen.
Well, you'll have to let us know because you're going to be our source on this, all right, Tim?
My pleasure.
We're going to tell you about what Walgreens is offering for free tomorrow in just a minute. Tim, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.